Okay. Instagram versus Snapchat,
Round
one. Hey everyone, I'm Taylor.
I'm Kelsey.
And we are here for episode 47 of Ask a Web Op, where you ask us questions and we answer them. And today we are going to talk about Instagram stories. They just recently came out with this and we are ready to talk about it. It is a brawl between Instagram and Snapchat, and it's very, very blatant that Instagram stole some of Snapchat's ideas.
Very true. So yes, it came out a couple days ago. And your first thought was probably, this looks exactly like Snapchat. This is Snapchat, which is kind of true. The CEO of Instagram literally claimed that they basically took the idea from Snapchat.
They did.
However, when you start messing with it a lot more, there are a lot of differences, and I personally think that it's going to be a really great thing.
I think so too.
First of all, it's a lot more intuitive. Snapchat can be really difficult to figure out at times, and we've had a lot of people tell us that like older people or parents don't really know how to use it that well, but Instagram's super intuitive. It's literally just go in the top left corner, click on the plus button, you can take a picture, write on it, type if you want, and then it's like
and then
on
send
your
it.
Story.
Exactly.
It's quick.
What's even crazier is if you're already active on Instagram, it's a lot easier for, like she was saying, for you to interact with it and to do that instead of adapting a new platform. And it's also really, really good for businesses, because if you as a business are on Instagram and you've built your audience, you can basically broadcast and make stories to your followers, your current followers already. So you don't actually have to build up that following like you would on Snapchat, and you can just start doing that and you can stay on brand.
Yeah, it's a time saver, because on Snapchat, when you think about like the time it takes to build your audience, it takes a lot of time. So the fact that Instagram already did that was great. It's also great because if you can see on that top line, it basically feeds the stories to you by who you interact with most.
Exactly.
Where on Snapchat, it's kind of like timely, like who's done the last one or the most recent, and then going down the line. But with Instagram, it's whoever you interact with most. So you're seeing who you want to see.
Exactly.
Basically. And
really, that all comes down to good content. So I interact with people who, one, I care about, but two, they offer good content that I want to see, or I want to watch, or I want to interact with. So it always comes back down to this, but produce good content for your stories, experiment with it, talk to your team about how you can really, really make Instagram stories the best for your business, and then execute it. And best of luck to you, because again, it really does come down to who's got the best content and what are you giving them that's adding value to their life.
Exactly. You really get to, a lot of the articles we've been talking about have, talk about how with Instagram, it's always kind of trying to like maintain that perfect image that you have, and people really only post when it's like a picture perfect literally post. But you can still do that with having a story, because you can post on your feed what you want to, but you can still include things on your story too. So you kind of get the best of both worlds with it.
And just like Snapchat, it will go away in 24 hours. So do those in between moments. You know, basically post things to your feed still that you've been doing all along, but give those in between and behind the scenes content that they're also looking for.
Yeah, and that pretty much wraps up the Instagram stories, and we'll have more to kind of report on once we hear from other people how they are using it and everything, and we'll give you updates.
It's so new. So like she was saying, as we just mess around with it more and we find out what's really, really working for people, we will report back to you. But for now, that's round one of a Snapchat versus Instagram. Thank you guys, and we will see you next week.
Bye.